Hi, everyone. Today's presentation is about how to improve your computer speed. So if you feel like your computer has been running slow lately, this might help speed it up. Of course, if your computer is old, they do get weaker with time, but this should speed that up a little bit. So today we're going to cover some non-technical ways to speed up your computer. So you don't need to go into advanced detail on lots of different things. And then we'll specifically focus on Windows 10 and Macs. So a few simple solutions. If you are using a browser, you might want to consider closing tabs that you're not using. This is especially useful for something like Chrome because Chrome is more resource intensive than other browsers like, say, Safari. And if there's any other apps you have open, Word or Calendar, you might want to close those if you're not using them, because then your computer doesn't have to handle a bunch of different apps at the same time. Another simple solution is updating your computer. So try to keep your software up to date, both for security reasons and also usually software updates come with what's called a performance optimization. So basically, the developers, the people who code your operating system, they just make tweaks so that it can run as fast as they can get it to run. Another option is to increase how much storage space you have. So delete any old videos or photos, try to back them up to the cloud, like using something like Google Photos or Apple Photos if you can, and then you can delete them off your computer and it won't take up much space. Another one is restarting your system. So it is good to try to shut down your computer every once in a while, because if you just put it to sleep, then it is still running a lot of things in the background to keep itself awake. And that can, just like a human, it needs some rest sometimes. And it can also help fix crashes. If there's a power surge, it can reduce those. And sometimes with Wi-Fi malfunctions, it can fix those too. So now I'll be talking specifically about Windows 10. So Mac users, that bit is coming a little bit later. So Windows has a feature called tips and tricks. And those things sometimes pop up saying, hey, you can try this on this, and you can turn those off, and then your computer doesn't have to handle that as well. So to do that, you'll want to click the Start button, which is usually in the bottom left of the taskbar or your screen. It looks like a little Windows icon. Then you'll want to go to Settings, then choose System Settings, which will be towards the left of the Settings app. Then go into Notifications and Actions. You can see that on the screen here. It's highlighted in blue. And then the toggle here is circled in red, and make sure that's off. It might be a checkbox on your computer, just make sure it's unchecked. Another way is to uninstall apps you're not using. So to do that, again, you're going to open Settings the same way, go to the bottom left of your screen, click the button, and then open Settings. Then you want to go to Apps, and then Apps and Features. And if there's any programs you're not using, uninstall them. Do be careful with this because you don't want to accidentally uninstall something that is important to you. So make sure you're definitely not going to need to use it before uninstalling. Another one is power settings. So Windows comes with a feature that will help adjust how much battery your computer uses. And this can help improve performance or make your battery last longer. So to launch the Control Panel app, which is what you would use to do this, you would launch the Control Panel app. If you don't know where that is, you can just search for it using the search button on your computer. Then select Hardware and Sound, and then Power Options. And then you'll see a screen that looks pretty similar to this image on the right. And then you can choose Balanced, which is the recommended one, or Power Saver if you're, say, carrying a laptop and you're going to be using it for a while. You can also use High Performance if you're running something that needs a lot of computer power, but that you should keep off unless you really need it. So a bit of comparison between the different modes. High Performance is the fastest speed, so things will load faster, but it does take a toll on your battery life, so you might have to plug in your computer more often. Balanced is obviously, as it says, balanced. It tries to balance power use and speed, so it might increase speed sometimes and decrease it other times. and does it automatically so you don't have to worry about it. And then power saver, the computer will do a lot of things to try to improve your battery life. But to do that, it does have to sacrifice speed. So some things might run a bit slower if you're on power saver. Right now, Mac users. So first of all, again, just like Windows, you'll want to clear your trash bin. So here, the trash bin is usually in your taskbar. Just right click it and then choose empty trash. But do note that when you're emptying the trash, you are permanently deleting everything off your hard drive and you won't be able to get it back. So if you're not sure, you can go into your recycle bin or trash app and manually select anything that you want to delete and then restore other things. I'll go over that on Windows in a live demo shortly. Another one would be to get rid of desktop clutter. So everything you have on your taskbar or your dock, which is the little bar at the bottom of the screen, is another image that your computer has to load. And that if you have a lot of things down there, it can really slow down your computer's performance. So you should keep your dock for apps that you use really frequently. Some apps are there by default, but you can pretty easily remove them. To do that, just hover over any app and then right click it. Then you see a little pop up like this image towards the bottom right, and it'll say options. Hover over that and then go to the first option, remove for dock. So this won't remove the app from your computer. You'll still be able to access it just by searching it or using the launchpad, but it just won't show up at the bottom of your screen. So your computer doesn't have to load as many things down there. You can also get rid of unnecessary apps. So if you have apps that are open in the background, again, right click them and then choose quit, which is towards the bottom of the little pop-up. You can see it in this image on the right, and that'll close the app. You'll still have it on your computer, it just won't be open. Or if you're in the app, you can hold down the command key and then Q, and that'll force close the app. You can also uninstall unneeded apps. So you can drag an app from the dock or the Finder app towards the trash bin, or you can right click the app in the Finder app and move to trash. And then you can empty your trash to delete those apps permanently. You can also delete large or unnecessary files. To do this, you want to go to Apple menu, then About this Mac, and then you'll see a little bar at the top, like in this image here. It's the middle one, it's circled in red, it's storage. And you can go to Manage and choose Documents, and the computer will automatically try to find large files, and you can delete the ones you don't need. I'm pretty sure Mac also comes with a feature to delete unnecessary clutter, so things that are temporarily downloaded. That's called a cache for different things to load. And it'll clear those, and that won't affect much, but it will make your computer faster. So some more tips. Most computers come with a tune-up utility or something similar, and you can also get third-party ones like Lolo Mechanic or AVG TuneUp. Again, like I mentioned, you can clear your cache, which is basically temporary files that are downloaded to your computer to help things load faster. And we have a separate webinar on that, which you can find at this link. If you want to get a bit more technical, you can choose to add more RAM, which basically is randomly accessible memory. So your computer can use that to like load apps faster, but it is a bit tricky. So if you're not sure, you don't have to get it. You can also check for viruses and spyware, which run in the background a lot and usually take up computer resources. Finally, you can run what's called a troubleshoot. So that'll try to fix any problems. It can also clear some unnecessary files and then improve your computer speed. So as your computer gets older, it's natural for it to start to slow down. And if you've tried some of the tips we've mentioned here and it's still not working, you might want to go to a tech repair store where they can do some more advanced fixes, or you might need to get a new computer. And we do have a webinar on what to consider when you're getting a laptop, and you can find it at this link. Okay, so now I'll be doing a quick live demo on some optimizations. Great, so I'm on a Windows device. This is Windows 11, so it will be slightly different if you're using Windows 10, and it'll be different if you're using a Mac. But on Windows 10, it should be pretty similar. So the first thing I'm going to cover is what's called Task Manager. So to open it, if you're on Windows 10, you can right click anywhere on the taskbar down here at the bottom of your screen and it'll open. If you're on Windows 11, you have to right click specifically this little Windows button. And then you can choose Task Manager from the pop-up. And you should see an app that looks something like this. So you can see here, I have Zoom open for this video call, Google Chrome for the presentation, and then Task Manager. So these apps at the top are by default the apps that are running and you'll be interacting with. Down here are background processes. Try to avoid touching these. A lot of these are like security things or things that your computer needs to run. And if you end these, your computer might break. But if you have an app that's not responding, or you have a lot of apps open and you want to quickly close them, what you can do is go to an app, click it, and at the bottom right, there's an option to end a task. And if you click it, there was an error message, but you can see that the app is closed. If you're curious about some more advanced things, you can go to this tab at the top and choose Performance. And you can see things like how much of your CPU is being used. So that's like the core part of your computer that does everything that's needed for your computer to work, and some other stuff like Wi-Fi speed. So if you do have apps that you're trying to close and you want to close a lot of them quickly, Task Manager is a good option for that on Windows. So another useful thing that was covered in the presentation is clearing files. So to do that, by default, there's something called Recycle Bin on Windows, which is usually pinned to your start screen. If it's not there for whatever reason, you can always search for it, typing in Recycle Bin or storage settings, and it should open, or it should show up. So if I open Recycle Bin, you'll see I have some old files here. And delete files individually, what you can do is just select one. You can see an option to restore the item if you accidentally deleted it, or you can restore everything if you deleted a bunch of stuff and then realize you didn't want to delete it. If you want to delete an individual file, you can right click it and delete. If you want to clear everything, there's an option at the top here that says Empty Recycle Bin. So click it. It'll show you a little prompt to make sure you actually want to do it. Click yes, and then you'll see it's gone empty, and then you'll have some more space because those things are no longer stored on your computer. So I hope that was helpful, and hopefully these tips will help you speed up your computer.